Good, good. I'm silent. Moin and your team. Silence. Mute. Blessing, how are you?
Fine.
Wow, thank you. That's nice. Where can I see? I can see Faith and Ezra. Faith and Ezra, how are you, Faith and Ezra? Where are your parents? Where are your parents? I can see your parents. Moin, where is your parent?
She's sleeping.
He's asleep. What about Blessing? Where's your parent?
He's coming.
She's coming.
Yes.
How are you?
I'm fine.
Wow,
Thank you.
that's nice. That's nice. Actually, I believe that most of the parents will just join us in a few, and I'd like us to proceed because we only have 1 hour so that the children can be able to sleep. It's already 10 p.m. down here in Kenya, so you see, you can see a little bit late for kids to sleep.
Dyson, I'm
like-
having some issues, not being able to hear you as much because mics are on. If you can maybe mute some of the mics.
Yes, let me mute. Okay.
Mom, this Shelly had a shower. Shelly had a shower. Hivi.
I hope all is well now.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Wow. Now, I'd like Denise to introduce yourself so that these guys can know you. Kindly.
My name is, I'm Denise Plowman. I am from the United States. I live in America, in Boise, Idaho. I am been training in Kenpo, will be 30 years coming up this January. For many years, I owned my own school. And while I also worked full-time and I also had a family at the same time, I've recently have retired, and so I'm able to commit more of my time now to the Kenpo world. And I'm part of the board members for the Kenpo Women's Symposium with Mrs. Barbara White.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Denise. We have our senior here, Barbara White. Madam Barbara White, can you introduce yourself?
Thank you. Thank you, Dyson. My name is Barbara White, and I have been in Kenpo for almost 33 years. I live in California in the United States. I own my own studio. My husband and I owned our own studio. He's recently passed away, so now it's fully in my hands. I also work full-time. I'm a nurse, so I work at a hospital full-time as well. I love Kenpo and am always excited to talk about Kenpo and love training in Kenpo. And so Denise and I have both been looking forward to meeting all of you this evening. And we're so happy that you're probably missing some bedtime time to be with us, but we thank you for that.
Wow. So thank you so much, Madam Barbara. I believe she is our senior here in this meeting in Kenpo. And we really appreciate your time, your precious time that you have sacrificed to have a word with us. Thank you so much, Madam Barbara. Now, we'll go direct to some of the questions that most of the people has been asking me. And one of this question is, is Kenpo a universal art? Is Kenpo a universal art? This I'd like to direct this question to our senior, Madam Barbara White. Is Kenpo a universal art?
Yes, it is. There's, and I was trying to figure out kind of really what the gist of the question is. And my understanding is can it be used universally be used by all populations? And I believe that the answer is yes. Not only is it used by students all over the country, all over the world, it's a language, one language. You know, a horse dance will always be a horse dance. And it doesn't matter if you're in Australia, you're in Kenya, you're in the United States, you have a horse dance. It's also universal in that you can scale it to to your abilities. And there are people who have various disabilities, but who can still be successful in Kenpo. It's a flexible system. You have the opportunity to use it to scale to your particular population and abilities. So with that, I think that's pretty succinct of an answer. I believe it's universal. I don't know how Denise probably has another perspective as well.
No, I think you pretty much nailed it, Barbara. I mean, it's, to me, being universal, that it's all encompassing. It doesn't matter your age, doesn't matter your gender, doesn't matter what your education level is, and that it works for everybody. And you'll get out of it what you put into it. We have the opportunity that it's also on a international level as well too. So that's, I think universal in that regards to, we just to introduce, we have one of our board members that's with us, Marisol, who is our Chile representative. And, we can all, as Barbara talked about, speak the same language in Kenpo, even though we are so diverse in the countries that are all taking in it. So I think that would be the only thing I would add to it. But Barbara pretty much defined it pretty good there.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Denise and Madam Barbara. I have another question. Actually, I have a lot of questions here. And the second question, I'd like to direct it to Madam Denise. And the second question people are asking, what are the benefits of a girl child training karate? What are the benefits?
Oh, there's so much that anybody, whether you're a child or an adult, can get out of it. And so, I think a big one for me was identifying self-confidence, especially in kids. When I had my school and I was teaching, I had more of a kid population than what I do now. Just seeing their self-confidence. I would get a lot of kids that would come into the school that were maybe having troubles in school or with their family or whatever the case may be, and working with that and how that working with them on a day-to-day basis helped to improve their self-confidence to where, they would start to show a lot of improvement in the areas that they were having challenges, especially when it was with school and stuff. It teaches discipline. You're working, you're learning new techniques, you're learning the basics of the art. And in order to get proficient and better at it, you have to practice. And that as far as I'm concerned, is the discipline to be out there and do that practicing on your own. Oftentimes without having mom and dad telling you to practice is a good one. And that transfers over into everything that you do outside of the Kenpo world. The basic physical activity, you know, as far as your health, overall health, because you're working in an area where you're doing a lot of exercises and physical activities as you're doing your martial arts. And of course, you're also learning some camaraderie. You're learning how to work and with people that you may not have ever met, that you are now working with, and they become your friends, they become your family. Kenpo, as far as I'm concerned, is a huge family. And I have met so many people over the last 30 years that there's no way I would have ever have met them outside of the Kenpo community. And a lot of times my instructor, Mr. Sepulveda, will talk about how none of us would be here together if it hadn't been for Mr. Parker. So he had brought us all together in that camaraderie that we all have from that. It teaches respect for your elders, respecting for the people that you train with, your teachers, respect for just yourself. It also teaches you some humility. It teaches you that failure is not a bad thing. You can learn from, you know, the challenges that you have, and how you can fix that and you can move on. And, you know, obviously it's teaching you the self-defense aspect of as well too. It's important that you are going to be learning how to defend yourself and be aware of what's going on in your environment, so that maybe that you don't even have to use the physical aspects of Kenpo. I mean, I think that's the big one, is teaching the awareness part of it. And I think the commitment. So you learn what having a commitment is all about, whether it be towards yourself, whether it be towards with your parents or your siblings or with your instructor, with the school. And it helps you define that those are all skill sets that you learn that you will use later on in life as a kid as you go forward. But it also, you know, all of this applies to the adults as well. It's not just for the kids. So Barbara, do you have anything else you want to add to that?
Well, you pretty much nailed every single point I was going to bring up, but I
Sorry.
So, but I will bring up something else as well. You get an opportunity to develop emotional self-control and physical self-control, and you learn to discipline yourself that you don't react on pure emotion, and that's really important as you go on in life. You know, because you'll run into certain obstacles or things that will impact your life, and you learn to have some self-control with those. And that's so important to have in our world, in our life, is self-control. And you get an opportunity when you're up for a belt test or you know, some challenge that you have in Kenpo. You get an opportunity to see yourself do your best when your best is needed. And it brings about that. And I think that's so important, because it does bring up some confidence, but it also brings the work ethic that you want to do your best all the time. And therefore, you'll have the opportunity to do your best when your best is needed, and to not let what you think that you cannot do get in the way of what you actually can do. So you start to work out through some of these barriers. If you say, I can't throw that front thrust kick, you can't throw the front thrust kick. You do what you don't let what you cannot do or what you think you can't do get in the way of what you can do. And I think that's a really important life lesson as everybody goes on through, you know, all different stages of their lives. So everything that Denise said, I added a couple others, but the bottom line, Kenpo is great, and it is good for all ages, all development. Prepares us for life. Life is not easy. So it prepares us for the challenges that we have ahead in life, as well as the current challenges.
Wow. Thank you so much,
Really?
and for such an enlightenment. Let me mute someone here. A minute. Let me mute this one.
Recording in
Good.
progress.
Good. Now, another question. We have another question here that most of the people has been asking me, and that goes like this: do Kenpo-Karate promote violence? Because it entails a lot of kicking, a lot of punches. Does it promote violence?
Well, I think that it promotes peace, and it's a martial arts is a fighting arts, but understanding and knowing martial arts gives you what my husband would say, the dignity to walk away from a situation, knowing that you have the confidence that you could defend yourself in a situation if you needed to, but you don't have to prove yourself to a bully or somebody else. It gives you the ability to walk away and with dignity. But if you had to defend yourself, you know full well that you could defend yourself. So that kind of goes along with self-control and emotional self-control. And you think what really is what is worth fighting for. So I think in that aspect, in my opinion, it does not provide balance. It provides self-control, discipline, respect for yourself, for others.
Yeah, and I think to add on to what Barbara said there, a big one, we talked about some of the benefits, and one is the discipline aspect of Kenpo. And so, what you're learning is tools. You're learning tools based upon a situation that may come out of whether you need to use those tools. And part of your training is to assess, there's Mr. Parker has a saying, whatever the attitude, so is the response. So part of that is to assess that situation to see, do I need to use the tools that I have learned? So that comes with, again, part of the disciplinary or the discipline part of it, and the awareness part. I think if anything, the number one key thing about that I teach is awareness of what's going on around you, to put so that you cannot be in maybe a situation to where you have to use those skills. So it's not necessarily that you're learning violence. You're just providing yourself some tools that, in case it gets to the point of where now it's a matter of whether it could be detrimental to you, that life-threatening, or along that lines, that you have to defend yourself. You have the skills to do it, but you also know that if somebody's just yelling at you, that's not the time that you need to go and maybe throw a punch at them and stuff. I mean, what is the attitude that you're getting? What's the response that you're going to reply to that? And like Barbara said, to be able to walk away. So I don't think it teaches violence. I think it gives you skill sets and tools to apply to a situation to where violence may be done to you. And then your ability to determine that and make the decision on whether you need to react based with some physical or just some verbal, or just to walk away from it all.
Wow, thank you so much for this one. I have another question. That the question goes like, can at that year of age enroll in Kenpo-Karate classes?
So
beyond
yes.
that, yes, age.
I started Kenpo when I was 32. I started with my son. He was 7 at the time. Throughout that time, life happened and he went a different direction, but I stayed with it. So it can start at any age. And that's, one of the questions that I would get from a lot of people is, I'm not in shape, or I'm too old, or whatever. It does not matter. There's no restrictions as to who you are, where you're at in your life, whether or not you can learn Kenpo-Karate. It's, the nice thing about it is it's tailored for you as you need it, and what your capabilities are, because everybody has different capabilities that they can do. But most definitely, yes, you can start as I'm looking at it, 30 is very young from my perspective right now. So yes, you could start in your 30s very easily. You can start in your 40s, you can start in your 50s, you can start in your 60s. It does not matter. Barbara?
I had a student who I've been teaching for the past 5 years, and she started in her 70s. She's now almost 75 years old. I have her class with her every single week. And she's learning balance and flexibility. The bottom line is she absolutely loves it. And age does not, she's not concerned about her age or when she's getting to a black belt. She absolutely loves the journey of Kenpo. She loves Kenpo. And every week we have a private, and we just had one this morning. So an hour private every week. And she's, as I said, she started at in her 70s. So it is all ages, and you don't want to put a barrier on yourself because of your age. You don't want to remove all those obstacles, because in the age, we have 3-year-olds in our tots class at the studio. So we do have all ages, all demographics. And that's one of the great things about Kenpo is you don't need to be somebody young to be able to learn Kenpo and be successful at Kenpo. You can be successful at Kenpo if you start when you're 70.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. I believe most of these guys are taking notes. Okay, now I have another question.
Dyson?
Yeah, I think I have a lot of questions, but I believe you'll be able to go through what you can. Now, another question. Somebody asked me, can one earn a living by training others the art of Kenpo?
Barbara?
I'm thinking right now. Yes, my husband did. He taught full-time karate for his entire life. He started his school when he was very, very young, and he just recently passed away. And our schools have been his major source of income. I think you get out what you put in. If you want to make this your job, this is your career, you have to treat it as a full-time studio and as your career. A lot of martial arts studios are part-time because people have other jobs to supplement. So you really, if you want to make it a full-time school and this is your career and you're making money, you get what you need to do is get all the pieces in place so that your school can be successful. And I've heard him say over and over again during our marriage that it's very hard to support yourself on a karate studio alone. But if you put the pieces in, and it's possible that you could be successful.
And I think it's really important that, as Barbara was saying, you treat it like a business. You need to go into it that, it may be your passion and you want to do it because this is what you love to do, but you kind of sometimes have to put that on the side burner. Make sure you have a good business model. Make sure you're treating it like you would any other kind of business. I know that challenges have come up for people that I have known that have owned schools and that, where, there's always a challenge of getting the financing on a month-to-month basis to make sure that you're able to pay the bills in that. And then there's people that come in and they're late in their payments or that. And the difference is with this kind of business and other is that you have a relationship with your students that you don't have if you owned a business like a store or such. So sometimes that can be a challenge. So my suggestion is, if anybody wants to do this, is to make sure that you treat it as a true business, have a business model. If you haven't had any education in how to run a business, I suggest taking some kind of classes, either online or through schools, on how you can be an effective business owner so that you can put that all together, because your success then will be the success of your students as well, too. If you're not able to keep the doors open and the lights on, your students aren't going to benefit if they can't come. So I think having to have kind of that line drawn between being the owner And being the instructor, sometimes it can be very challenging. And so that would be my suggestion, but it can be done. And it also kind of think depends upon the area of where you live and what resources people have to be able to become students. You know, it's you address. I kind of always looked at it that this is not is it a want or a need, and you know, people that are coming in your students or your classes and such, it's not something that they have to have in their life in order to live. It's something that they can add to it. So if things come up to where they have to make a decision about whether they can pay for this or pay for that, you know, that's the determining factor of whether they'll stay in the school as well too. So sometimes that plays a role in whether your school is successful. Is what's it like in the area of where you are putting your school at, and how are you able to draw students into to help support and keep the doors open. So, but it can just make sure you treat it as a business, like Barbara was saying.
You know, and to add to that, you want to sell this as a value. And I was talking to a friend a couple of weeks who owns a very successful martial arts studio. And he said he started out, you know, when the studio was running just fine. And, you know, he was really had more of an altruistic meaning he wanted just to really provide this service. That was kind of his basis. And he would give free lessons away and things of that nature. But he learned that people will place value on opportunities to learn if they pay for it. And so he found that some of the classes that he was giving away for free because somebody couldn't afford it, the value they placed on those classes was not as significant as if they sacrificed, took the money out, and they paid for his classes. So you kind of have to see how people perceive value as well. And oftentimes you'll see that it's more valuable if you have to really work and pay for it. But you want to make sure that you sell the value of what they're learning.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That's a very nice enlightenment on that. So let's go to another question. But before we go to another question, I'd like, please let me mute someone here. I'd like to ask Marisol. Marisol, can you hear me? Can you?
Yes, Dyson.
Yeah, that's good. I'd like Marisol to introduce herself, please.
Oh, okay. My name is Marisol Cespedes. I'm from Santiago of Chile in Latin America. Nice to meet you all. Denise, happy birthday again.
Oh, thank you.
A hug from here, and Mrs. White. Hi. I'm 37 years old. I'm studying in Kenpo on the age of 6 in Kenpo-Karate Mario Alves, who is my master. And in my case, my master is Money Race in Miami. And I'm so glad to be in the board member of Kenpo Women's Symposium since last year, supporting from Latin America, trying to be a bridge between Latin American community, female community, and all the world. Nice to meet you, Dyson.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, Marisol. Thank you so much, and say hi to all the Kenpo families in Chile. Yeah. Okay, now back to our question. I think this will be the last question from my book, and I'll give other parents and maybe students chances to ask their questions. So the last question is, can other students from different countries, and mostly in Africa, participate in international championships or events in America?
Yes. So, I mean, we were just at the Long Beach International Tournament, which is held every year in Long Beach. This is the original tournament that Mr. Parker started back in the 60s, and it's going to have its 60th year is this year. And that, by just in its name, international, indicates that it is open to everybody around the world to be able to come and participate. And they also have another one on the East Coast as well, too. And then there's a whole bunch that are happen over in Europe, over in South America. And
open.
yeah, and they're all open to anybody who wants to come and participate. So yes, they're open to everybody. And not just Kenpo, they're open to all styles too. So it's you get, when you participate in those types of events, you are at times competing against people that are in other styles of martial arts like Taekwondo or Jikundo or Shotokan or whatever. So you get a mixture of martial arts all coming together in one area to compete against each other. So yes, that is available. Do you have them there? Do you have them there, Dyson?
Sorry?
Do you have tournaments, big tournaments there?
Yeah.
So there was so it was really quite a group of loyal students of Ed Parker's to create the system that we have that is now based on logic. It's a street smart system. As Denise was saying, it's pretty eclectic system. He borrowed the things that he learned from the Chinese karate, from the Japanese karate, which is linear, and the Korean with the kicks, and the jiu-jitsu with the joint locks, and created it into one very logical street smart system that we now have as Kenpo.
And one of the other things that he did, that he has written several books, and if you are dedicated to Kenpo, I highly encourage you to get them, especially the Infinite Insights. There's 5 volumes of those. That's kind of one of his big projects that he had. But the Infinite Insights, there's 5 volumes. There's the Encyclopedia of Kenpo, and there's some others as well too. But he wrote these books so they were available for a tool for people that were learning, and so that we can also speak the same language and that we're all talking about the same thing. So if you don't have them, I would highly recommend getting those. And the other is there's been 3 books written. The Journey, right, Barbara, by Tom Bleecker?
Yes.
If you want to know more history about Kenpo and the seniors and the people involved in it, especially in the first book that came out, The Journey was written by Tom Bleecker, and it has the history of a lot of the seniors that trained with Mr. Parker in the very beginning, that kind of give you the story about Kenpo and where we're at now. And then he did Barbara's in
National.
You're in volume.
I'm in the Journey 3.
You're in the
but
Journey
after
3.
the original Journey, he did the International Journey, and that included people from Ireland and from Europe. And then from there, the Journey 3. Let's see if I have one in here.
Yeah. So, and Barbara is one of the ones highlighted in the Journey 3 as well too. But there's some really good information and stories and background that if you want to know a lot more detail about Kenpo and the world of Kenpo and who was all involved in developing to where we're at now, I would encourage you to read those. And then, you can always look up stuff on Mr. Parker as well, too. There's a ton of information out there about Mr. Parker, who he is, what he was about as well, to add to all that. Does that help?
One last interesting thing that I heard from my husband a lot of times when he teach is that Kenpo is the only system in which checks are incorporated, and a check is a protection against an intentional or unintentional movement. And my husband was on the very beginning, Shotokan, which is Japanese style, but he very often said that the logic of Kenpo is also that we have these checks. And so that Kenpo it's the only system that has these incorporated in our movements and our techniques. So it's really showing kind of a progressive way of thinking and of viewing our martial arts.
And Mr. Parker was very progressive, and there's been lots of talk for those that knew him that if he is still around, he would be heavily involved in the type of, probably integrated into what we're doing now, ground fighting and stuff. He unfortunately passed right about the time that the UFC MMA started coming out. But there is a lot of the people that know him and full confidence know that he probably would have been very heavily involved in incorporating the ground, like what's happening with the jiu-jitsu world, and that would have also started to pop up in our Kenpo world as well too. So along that line, he was very he's not a traditionalist where everything stayed put to where it was after he passed. He was very much into progression of the system so that it meets the needs and the times and the area that you live in order to be able to protect yourself. He was very much involved with that.
Oh, that's so nice. That's so nice. That's a good enlightenment. Now, I'd like to give another person here to introduce herself. She's called Teacher Sarah. Can you hear me? Kindly, can you unmute yourself, Teacher Sarah? You have Teacher Sarah here. Teacher Sarah is a teacher in a school we call Kericho Primary School. She is in charge of karate team in the school. I hope you have recently I posted her photo in our Facebook page. She has been a very great support in the school. Can you introduce yourself, Teacher Sarah, please, and say hi?
Okay, hi Dennis, hi Barbara,
Hello.
hi Lynn, hi Marisol, hi Faith, hi Ezra, and hi Chege. Okay, I'm Sarah Oyeko from Kericho Primary, as you've been told, and I'm in charge of karate. And I've really enrolled so many girls, in fact, than boys, which I think is a positive development. And I appreciate to get some more information about it. I wanted to give up because most parents are on my neck. They think that it's not important. But I can see, yeah, I think that we've saved the records and we'll ensure that all the parents get it so that they understand more about the girl defense.
So I would like to just
what you're doing.
It's great that you're out there doing that and that you're a representative for that. And kudos to you for that, because it's a challenge everywhere, defining that. But you being willing to go out there and help the girls out and fight for them to keep them involved in that is, I commend you. That's awesome.
Thank you.
I do as well. You just by being out there and they look up to you and you're empowering them and you're mentoring them. What a gift that they are receiving right now. They see that you can do it, and why not them?
Yeah, it can be done. It can be done.
Mm-hmm.
One of the the Kenpo Women's Symposium that we really try to impress is that we're here to help with creating a network of people that are out there for the women and the girls of Kenpo. And so if you have, questions or you want some tools to help you out or some ideas, that's one of the main purposes of the symposium group that we have. And you have not just us, but you have a huge amount. Right now, I think we're at over 1,000 people that are on the Facebook page. all over the world that have experiences of how they have developed programs or ideas of what to teach in class, or how to maybe communicate to parents of what the importance of doing this is for and why. And you have that at your fingertips to use at any point in time. So I encourage you, if you're not already, to get on the Symposium Facebook page if you're on Facebook, and reach out. And if you're not on Facebook, reach out to us. We'd be more than happy to, if we don't have the answer, maybe direct you to somebody that can. But there's so many people out there with so much information to share that could help you with your program. And then in tune, you help us as well too with what you're doing. You know, sharing what you're doing with the girls and how you're developing that, and what works and what doesn't work. We would love to hear from you as well.
You know, and to take
I
that
will.
one step farther, you know, our next Zoom symposium is going to be in March. And the panelists that we are having are all young ladies. They're all our youth. And so that might be really looking forward to that. We have a couple from France, we have a couple from Mexico, we have somebody from Ireland, a couple young ladies from the United States. And so I think it's something that's going to be very interesting because we hear from the perspective of these young ladies that we have, and that might be something that that you'd be interested in seeing, watching on us.
And also,
Okay, thank you.
you know, we've had several Symposium Zooms, and they're all recorded and all available. If you at any point ever want to go in, and I think we have what, 6 now? 6 out there.
We've had 6.
We have 6 out there now, and also Marisol has just started doing symposiums for Latin American as well too. So she's now adding to that. But that's all available to you if at any point. It's on our YouTube channel that you can go and listen to all of those Zooms, and you might gather some information from there as well too. Dyson, there's stuff on there that we did for school owners as what's worked in that maybe you there might be some ideas in those Zoom calls that we did regarding some of the school owners. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that's out there available for you now. All you have to do is just access it. It's free and it's available. And we want to just, we have a resource library on our Facebook page that we keep adding more and more stuff to, especially like women's self-defense classes. A lot of times, if you start the women's self-defense classes and they bring their kids get involved in that as well too. We've got some literature out there on our templates of maybe how to start that and help you out. But there's a whole bunch of stuff there if you need it that's available to you.
We also have a website as well that it's a library of our Zooms as well, and it's so you can access that both ways from our YouTube as well as from our website.
Right.
Okay.
Wow.
Which is it's www.symposium.kenpo-women www. Let me look that up again. www. I'm mixing up with our Facebook.
We can always send them
Symposium.kenpo-women.com.
Yeah. If you do a Google search on that, it'll come up.
Yeah. Yeah. www.symposium.kenpo-women.com.
Wow. That's nice. That's nice. Thank you so much.
It will look like this.
Wow.
And
that's nice.
We can send
Thanks, Marisol.
all the information for it as well too. But bottom line, we're here for you if you ever just want to reach out and ask a question. That's the whole purpose of the symposium.
Okay.
So it doesn't
like
get
our
today.
You're welcome. If you'd like our emails, you have our emails.
Me.
Now, are you on Facebook? Do you have Facebook?
No, I'm not on your Facebook wall,
Okay, okay.
but I'm on Facebook.
So if you're on Facebook, Dyson, you can invite.
I will invite her in to the page, and then she will join.
Yeah, so when he invites you and you join, then it's pretty interactive, and there's stuff on that we post on there every single day. So you'll start to see how big Kenpo is in the world. And what we would really like is also to start highlighting all you guys as well from Africa, so we can add that to our international.
Be very awesome.
Yeah.
Wow, that's nice. That's nice. Thank you so much, Teacher Sarah. Lynn, how are you, Lynn? Lynn, how are you?
Microphone's off.
Lynn can't hear me. Let me try to reach.
There's Lynn.
Lynn, how are you, Lynn?
Fine.
Do you have any question? Where's your mom?
Hi, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
Hi.
I'm good.
Yeah. Do you have any question,
Nice to
mom?
see you.
No, I'm okay.
No question?
Are you training, Mom, with Lynn?
Sorry?
Do you train with Lynn? Are you doing Kenpo?
No, I don't. No, I don't train with Lynn.
Oh, but you should.
I will join. I will join them.
Yeah, then you guys can do it
Yeah.
together. That's an
Yeah, I
awesome
will
thing to
join.
do together.
I will join them.
We have mothers and daughters at our studio. I
Yeah.
just taught a mom. I just taught a
Okay.
mom right before this class, and actually it was her son who takes karate, but she's been
I-
sitting on the bench watching, decided to go for it.
Okay, I will join.
Okay. Okay. Well, then I'm going to be waiting for pictures to see that you did that.
Okay. Now, let me. Faith and Ezra, where are you? Faith and Ezra, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, but I can't see you. I can't see your faces. I want to see your faces. Guys, you're in the dark. Faith,
Yes.
can you see? Can you hear me? Do you have any question?
No.
Faith, you don't have any question.
None at all.
That's okay.
That's
If you
okay.
have
Faith.
questions, if you do after the Zoom and you have a question, let Dyson know and he'll get to us and we'll answer that question.
That's cool. Then from here we have Mr. Wilbur Osinde. Wilbur Osinde, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you have any question?
Sema, I can hear you.
I can hear you.
You can hear me.
Yes.
Do you have any question?
No.
You don't have any question.
Yes.
That is very serious. Where is dad or mom?
Here.
Who is with you? Is it mom or dad?
Mom.
Mom.
Yes.
Tell mom to her to say hi to us. Want to see her face?
Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm with Osinda here. Can you see our faces?
We
Yeah,
can.
you can see our
Yes.
faces.
Oh,
You look
Yes.
so
Nice to meet you.
Oh, nice meeting you too.
Yeah, mom.
Mom,
also-
are you training? Are you training, Mom?
No, Wilbur is training.
So you get to train with Wilbur?
Yeah, maybe in the near future.
See, you can have a mom's class
That's
there,
great.
Dyson.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
if there's a mom class, I can join.
mom's class. There you go.
Yes. There we go.
Then you guys can practice together.
Yeah, we can. If you make arrangement for mom's class.
There you go, Dyson. It's in your house now.
Nice.
think so.
Now,
I think you see the need.
Oh, thank you so much. You don't have any question, ma'am?
No.
The son
We
doesn't
joined
have
a bit late.
though.
We joined a bit late. Yeah, so but we are okay.
You're okay.
Yes.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, now who else do we have here? Madam Dennis, before we go to Madam Barbara, I would like to hear your final word.
Well, I just want to say that we were very excited to be able to, with Dyson reached out to us to come and talk to all of you. That means that one of the missions that we have with the Women's Symposium group is to reach out to as many women and girls that are training in Kenpo as we can, and the word is spreading. I just encourage you just to keep training. Moms, if you can, get involved and do some training because it will benefit you as well too. And that if you have any questions, please you go through Dyson, or you can go through Facebook or whatever. We're there for you guys. We want to support. We want to help grow your community as much as possible. And we hope to see your Kenpo journey in the future as if it's posted on Facebook and stuff. So thank you guys for inviting us. We really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Our senior here, Madam Barbara, your final word, please, as we finalize this.
It's been such a pleasure to share with you all this hour. It's as Denise was saying, it's quite a blessing for us in the Kenpo Women's Symposium to be able to be here. And we so much appreciate your staying up at this time now, probably 11 p.m. And you probably all are normally in bed. So the sacrifice that you took to be here with us, we so much appreciate, and we hope to hear from you more. And I also encourage you to just take some classes. Those who are not taking karate, get into some classes and see what it's all about. You might develop a passion that you never knew that you had before, and just to have an eye-opening, life-changing experience in Kenpo. It's so I encourage you to do that as well. And I just thank you for having us here. We're very happy to be here, and we hope to be able to have more communication with you as time goes on. And feel free, any questions that you might have, please, Denise or Marisol or myself, please email us. We'll do just our very best to be of service to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'd also like to thank each and every one of you for your precious time, for taking your precious time to some of us to listen, for Denise, Barbara, to enlighten more about Kenpo and what most of the people didn't know about, how Kenpo runs, how wide this art is in the world. So thank you so much for everything. You're looking forward to maybe to have other meeting in the future, so that maybe for those ones who are not able to join today's meeting, might be able to join meeting in the future and be enlightened more and more. So thank you so much.
We look forward to it.
Our regards to the Kenpo family in the US, to Marisol, pass Kenpo regards, Kenpo salute to all Chile, Kenpo community. So thank you so much and God bless you.
Thank you.
You too.
Yes.